Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Newbee Rumble Season 5. As you can see in front of us is the graph, well, not the graph, the brackets for this tournament. We got 20 participants, 2 are missing from there, and also I'm going to read you the bracket. The bracket shall be up a couple minutes after this video goes up. In this video I will be basically explaining every craft, well, shortly explaining every craft, basically giving a short overview and telling us the first couple of matches. It's kind of fun to see what you're going up against, have an idea of the other chips in the tournaments. That's why I did this a little bit before the first couple of matches. Also, there's been a precedence for that in the Newbee Rumble. Towards for the middle half of the video, I kind of get tired there. I had a long day. Sorry for that. Lots of Discord notification too, apparently. But yeah, so towards the middle, I get my voice lowers down and I have trouble speaking. But except for that, I hope you enjoyed the video and, well, yeah, learn about your opponents. Okay, so first up, we have the Silva by the USS Moan. This this particular ship is carrying its 2 main weapons, which are this cram cannon and this railgun. Yeah, it has a little railgun here, a beloved turret. Its other main weapon will be torpedoes here. 2 huge torpedoes from what I've seen, maybe 1, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 huge torpedoes. These are gonna hurt. They're sonar guided, so no heat attack and all that stuff. Its main detection is up here, 2 turrets for detection. I don't know if there's any other detection around the craft. I looked a little bit, but I haven't seen any, so that might be a critical hit spot, which might change the outcome of the game greatly. Other things is its main defenses are those torpedo interceptors over here, which has a ton of them. Small torpedoes interceptors and a couple of missile interceptors up here with a missile receiver. Well, I'm guessing there's gonna be some smoke here detectors for these smoke dispensers over here, and some munition warners. Bunch of the detection, but yeah, if it gets shot up, that might be a problem. Also, nice smokestack right here, looks pretty good. Other thing, this boat has about 9,000 engine power, half powered by steam, half powered by fuel engines. It uses some props to keep steady in the water, which probably takes a little bit of that engine power, but I think most of it is actually taken up by this railgun, which subsequently might be very powerful. So if we let this guy run a little bit, as you can see, well, misses the first 2 shots, but that often happens. So some of these aren't torpedo interceptors, apparently missile interceptors. Kind of getting stuck there sometimes, I realize. Torpedo went ahead and shot. This gun might be very scary, but we're going to see in the future. Yeah, overall I think this is a very, very solid craft. It's also a front-sider with a little shield in the front, and it's going to be a big contender in the thing. So this is going to be the first ship in the first bracket, I guess, and we'll be going against a null ship. So let's see this other ship in this first match. Okay, in our second entry from the first match, the opponent of the Silva is going to be Null's Craft. Null's Craft main weapon is going to be these tactical nukes here in the back. I know we aren't allowed melee, but actually in Z King's season 3 or 4, don't remember which one, a similar craft has entered, and Null has showed me the video, and because Z King made the original rules, I'm also going to allow this. So this craft's main weapon is going to be these tactical nukes here in the back. It has a bunch of soaking armor here, and a bunch of smoke also, and shields. So basically it's going to try to absorb most of the damage, and finally at one point reach the enemy and blow him up with all these nukes. It has some light blocks and stuff like that. It's a very good ship, apparently with some laser guided torpedoes, laser guided torpedoes. And this is definitely going to be an interesting matchup for the first match. A front-sider who goes towards kind of a nuke ship. So definitely going to be an interesting matchup. Is going to be who will be able to kill the other first, basically like every other match. But once again, very interesting. So, well, we can kind of wait to watch it. Go kill the Marauder. I know originally this craft had trouble not going all the way down, like all the way up, while spawning in, but I think the problem might be fixed now. There's been a couple updates since. So yeah, this is going to be a next matchup. This was Null Submission. Let's go on to the second round. Okay, so this is the Klinken by Joshi, and this craft is a very good craft, very well rounded, a front-sider with heavy armor, so very, very good protection in the front. Also, spread out detection almost everywhere. Even below, there's a bunch of 90-degree sonars. There's some cameras here, some detection pods all the way over here, even some on top of the turret. Has a lot of defense, so not only an armor defense, but it also has a bunch of missile interceptors, small ones, and also torpedo interceptors all the way down here. It has the passive sonar detector, one in the front and one in the middle. It has those 90-degree passive sonar, so it can also detect even if these guys are knocked out, so that must be very reliable. Has these munition warners in the front. There's doesn't seem to be that many of them, but I guess it probably did the trick. Over here, oh, they're mimics. Okay. Also, the interior is kind of nice in here. You have, well, that's kind of the wrong part, but if you go over here, there's a little, well, a setup for the guy to be here and drive. And I just like the aesthetics with the little rails and stuff and with the little doors. That's a very cool craft. Also, Joshi, as one of your champions, you've all already been able to see his craft and test against it, so you should all know this craft pretty well. Also, it was capped at 120,000 materials. It has a 30,000 material deficit, so that's 1/5 of the budget gone. And it will be interesting to see how far Joshi is going to be able to make it with this craft. Also, I never saw this, but this is kind of cool. Kind of a little section pod for the driver. Anyways, let's get on to its opponent in 1 second. Big APS. Okay, so next up we have Sir Submission. Its name is the Prosecutor. Its main weapons are going to be these huge APS guns over here with a 95 fire rate on both, which is a pretty fast firing rate for such a big weapon here. Well, it doesn't have that big of a gauge, but this is a pretty fast firing thing with a bunch of torpedoes over here. Don't think they're intercepted. It might be intercepted, probably not, because you know they fired and the Marauder doesn't have anything, so probably not interceptors. Actually, offensive missiles. Over here, it has a big fuel engine. It also has these missiles over here. It has detection up here, basically everywhere on the craft, so should be pretty reliable. It even has smoke defense and some propellers in the back. Also can turn. Not sure if this is a front sider, so I guess we're gonna see in a couple seconds. Seems to be a broadsider. No, definitely a front sider craft. It makes sense because the ammo is in the back and the fuel engines, and also the AI, which also this craft is also powered by RTGs and a fuel engine, which I was quite surprised by. Anyways, this is the Prosecutor by Sir. Very solid craft, heavily armored, and very curious how far he's going to get in the tournament. It will be going up against Joshi's Klinken first. A very solid ship, a lot of attack power and defense. Will be interesting to see. Okay, so next up we have the Scorpion ship over here. A big, scary plasma cannon. Apparently, looking at the stats, that plasma cannon must hurt like hell. Over here we have a lot of detection in the front with some huge torpedoes, large torpedoes, not huge, huge are banned, and with some smoke warners, so it probably has smoke protection. I'm being kind of dumb right now. And some laser defense systems, which LAMs are pretty good. Detection all the way over here, kind of spread out. It's probably a front sider from what I'm seeing. Lots of frontwards push, but a very heavy ship needing a lot of power to keep upright probably. All made of metal. Don't know if it has EMP problems, probably not. But yeah, nice little section here, probably the cockpit. Oh, laser connector. So yeah, very, very solid craft to have. Oh, here's a cockpit, here's a chair. Has a fuel engine in here. Yeah. That plasma cannon seems to be very scary. Okay, let's actually see what it did to the Marauder, because those numbers are very scary. I don't think you're registered yet. Let's see. Okay, I guess it kind of missed the Marauder actually. I don't know why the damage was so high. So let's see it a little bit in action here. Throwing these huge torpedoes, which are going to be a huge deal actually to miss, because these things are going to hurt if they manage to all hit you. This craft is actually going pretty slow, but is also a front slider, so heavy armor in the front probably. Probably a very hard ship to kill. Once again, plasma cannon doing its damage every couple of seconds. This will be a very hard craft to kill. Lots of metal and probably lots of armor, especially with all these things. but they don't seem to all be firing, so maybe not that heavy of a ship, but still using a lot of propellers in the bottom. A basic looking craft, but very, very efficient, I think. So let's get on to its opponent in a second. Okay, so next up we have Big Scary Man's entry. This is a broadsiding craft, mostly made of metal, and can float surprisingly well without any big torpedoes. So it probably has a lot of air inside of it, and which means it's going to be really good against Hesh and all that stuff, and especially with all these munition warners here. No, anti-laser munition, anti-munition lasers. Also with these munition warners here, some cameras up here. Other ones, I think there was a passive sonar in the bottom. So a little bit of detection, a little bit everywhere, and two big railguns, can't really miss them. Does drain materials quite quickly. Well, maybe not that quickly in the bottom right. Will be a really hard ship to kill probably, and will be an interesting matchup for Scorpion's ship. The Big Scary Man does have a little cockpit here. Yeah, it is a very big craft, definitely. It is right on the cost limit, which I found pretty funny. And yeah, this is Big Scary Man's entry. We're going to see it in the third match of the competition. Okay, so next up we have Xunix's Fidget Spinner. This is an interesting craft, mainly missiles. Lots of them. I don't think they have single processors, so that might be a huge weakness for this craft. Has some turrets for missile interceptors on here. Lots of huge missiles and missiles a little bit everywhere. Detection on every side, so that should be fine. Also, I think it has some on the bottom. Yeah, over here. So detection should not get knocked out. Let's go to the main thing here. It has a turret with a face on it. Don't know why it reminds me of a certain president, but it kind of does. I really like it. This craft definitely has a lot of redundancy. So in every wing, it has its own fuel engines. I don't think it has an AI in every wing, but it has its own fuel engine, fuel storage, ammo, and a bunch of stuff. So this is a very redundant craft. Gonna be really hard to kill, especially because, well, let's see in action. It spins around. So if you shoot one side over here, let's say, well, the next one's kind of coming in. So basically, it's gonna be hard to kill this one because, well, damage is spreading around. There's repair bots, all that stuff. So its main weakness is probably gonna be running out of materials. Lots of heavy armor on top of that ship, so it's gonna be a very hard ship to kill. Its main weakness is definitely gonna be these guys not having single processors though. So I guess we're gonna see definitely a very annoying ship to kill probably. Also, apparently some they believe they're torpedoes now. These are torpedoes. But do they have torpedo props on them? So they get launched in the air. Okay, whatever. So this is a very solid craft. Kind of like the decoration and the joke here. Kind of a really cool entry. Some heavy armor, a little bit everywhere. So the defense on this craft must be really good. Yeah, so with some active defenses. The one thing I have noticed is it doesn't have any torpedo interceptors, which might make it which might be its biggest weakness. So it will be interesting to see this craft in the tournament. Has lots of munition worn off also, but it only has two little things against, well, basically against any munition, which could be pretty useful or might not be enough. Might get knocked out, all that stuff. But yeah, overall this is a very solid craft, very hard to kill, and if you don't have enough protection against missiles, this craft is gonna hurt. Okay, and this craft will be going against Xunix, Xunix, a ship, a fidget spinner with the odd face. This craft has a lot of heat and hedge protection because of this kind of outer wall out of here. It was an airship converted into a boat with one huge laser on top. This entire boat is one huge laser. Uses this laser for its attack and for its defenses. Has smoke defenses as well. So it has a lot of defenses. It is a broadsider that does a ton of damage, especially in terms of laser. Has this spinny thing on top with detection basically everywhere. So the detection is going to be hard to break. I think this is getting blocked by plate panels, so we'll be curious to see what's in there. And I guess there's more heavy armor on one side than the other. Interesting. And but anyways, yeah, this is a very solid entry. Probably has a lot of armor. As you can see, it needs a lot of propellers. Wow, words are really hard today. Propellers to keep up, and has a lot of heavy armor. So it's probably gonna be a very hard craft to kill with a huge laser system. So if you don't have laser protection, your craft is gonna get hurt. So will be a huge contestant in this tournament, and we'll see very quickly how well it's gonna do. Okay, so this is Chuchulu Wen's craft with some nice pixel art. Like the look of the craft, with a little cool looking cockpit type thing. Shields a little bit everywhere, which is gonna be good for protection. Also has some munition warner, so I'm guessing this is gonna be Seawiz. Main weapon is gonna be this humongous particle cannon. This thing uses a couple of not this thing. This ship uses some propellers to keep it up and steady. I don't know if it uses it for roll or just to keep it up, right? But definitely will use engines on that, and also a lot of engine power to carry this particle cannon. So this is probably a very material hungry ship. Got some detection spread out everywhere, well protected within there. So that's very good. So it shouldn't get all its detection gone within a couple of seconds. Has some missiles over here. Explosive active radar seeking, so these are attacking missiles. Uses propeller, that's a steam engine propeller, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it probably uses a steam engine. Yeah, very solid ship. One of its problem, Chichulu, please tell me to put your craft in broadside originally for the competition, or else you kind of have a self-harm problem with this ship. So also everybody, you can tell me the position you want your craft to be spawned in. So if you guys are broadsiders, please tell me. I can spawn your ship in a broadside formation. Please tell me left or right directly in Discord. So yeah, this is a very heavy craft, let's say, because that particle cannon does some damage, 129k damage in thumbs. I think that was thumb damage. So this probably hurt the Marauder a lot. No idea where it shot though. Anyways, so yeah, big torpedoes, not big torpedoes, medium torpedoes coming in with a lot of protection. This craft will be hard to kill, and if you get hit by that particle cannon, I think that's going to take out an entire section of a craft. So will be interesting to see how this craft fares against its opponent. Let's go see its opponent. So yeah, it still has you probably want to add some failsafes, but it's kind of too late for that. So yeah, this is the main problem with this craft. Okay, so this is Chuchulu. No, not Chuchulu. Which is not Chuchulu. This is the egg. So the one that will be fighting Chuchulu's beast. No, not beast. Chuchulu's ship in the first match. So this ship uses huge torpedoes with the EMP apparently. That one's frag, so probably one of each. So some huge torpedoes with some missile interceptors over here. It's mainly a missile craft. It has some laser guidance, so signal processors aren't needed. So this is gonna be a missile craft, which lots of interceptors. This craft will not probably die to any kind of type of missiles. Has enough interceptors to last for days. These aren't actually interceptors though. Interesting. So it does have still a lot of interceptors. Detection nicely hidden in here. Also, I think it is broadside, else these guys wouldn't particularly work. Weirdly enough, my aim going slowly. Yeah, anyways, those huge missiles are gonna hurt, so if you get hit by them, I would be very careful. A very solid submission, probably very good against other missile boats with all those missiles interceptors. But yeah, these missiles are gonna hurt, especially if you have no defenses against missiles. So if you have no defenses against missile, this one is gonna hurt a lot. It will be going against Chuchulu Wen's craft, which has a Seawiz. So let's see if the Seawiz will be able to counter all these missiles, or it will be overwhelmed. Also has its active passive sonar, so it probably has a torpedo interceptor, which I didn't see. Oh yeah, obviously those are torpedoes. Don't see torpedo interceptors though. Also that's kind of cool. I didn't see that before. So yeah, a very solid submission by the egg. Will be going up against Chuchulu's craft, and this will be definitely an interesting match. Okay, so this is the FOD's entry. It's a very good looking entry with some mimic work and all that stuff, kind of looking like a sniper thing, with lots of detection everywhere, munition warning, so there will be interceptors on here and on here, so kind of both. Lots of propellers to keep it upright, so probably eats a lot of engine power. Has some very big small missiles, and a lot of them, so that might be very scary if you don't have your missile defense on point. I'm gonna have to kill those Discord notifications. on the right. But yeah, big scary APS in the front, and all this guided by some missiles over here. So the decoys probably won't work. So this is a very scary ship, a very big ship. Tends to go underwater a lot and be very dodgy, so will be hard to hit. And with all that heavy armor, especially because it's a front sider, this craft will definitely be a hard one to kill. Okay, so the fog will be going against this entry by QWERTY26. It has main detection pods in the back and a little bit of detection everywhere, I think. Yeah, a little bit of detection everywhere, which is going to be pretty good, so it won't all get sniped at once. Some radar, some sonars also on the bottom. Kind of some cool props looking things on the bottom. Well, not looking things, actual props. Shields in the front with big particle cannons, which are gonna hurt. Along with this big APS on top, this ship is very scary and will probably hurt a lot. I don't know about the size on defense, but judging by all these propellers to keep it upright, I'm saying it's probably gonna have a lot of defense. Over here, weapon torpedoes and interceptors. Well, not torpedoes, interceptors will probably do the job against most, except against specialized torpedo craft. Well, my words today are not on point. Over here we have missile interceptors, which are going to be helping to go against a lot of the missile heavy crafts in this tournament this season. Also the shields up here are probably going to help a lot. So this one will be going against the FODS entry. And yeah, those big particle cannons, I like the color of them. Will be very scary to deal with. Apparently a little bit of stability issues, but that's probably just because it spawned in differently that it would be in the competition. So it doesn't seem to actually have any real stability issues. Front sider also goes from one side to the other, so will probably be hard to hit, though it is still a big target. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. Okay, so next up we have looking at the chat, sorry. Next up we have Joshy's second submission, Blinding Lights. Very accurate for this day, huge laser. So it has a really good looking up thing over here with 2 decoys, I believe. So the Blinding Light has 3 cram cannons, I believe. Big scary cram cannons, you don't want these to hit you. Also with this huge laser system, this craft is also limited by his cost reduction. So if we do an F11, if the Marauder can even survive until it turns. This is a broadsiding ship also. Main detection over here. I'm betting he's got more detection though. A little bit around, or else that might be a weakness. But yeah, the laser does hurt a lot if you look on the top right. The damage is stacking up really quickly. So yeah, it does have some defenses over here. You can see not missiles, munition warners. I can't find the darn interceptors though, apparently. But yeah, this is going to be a scary craft to go against. Its main power will be its offense. Probably still has a very good defensive wall and all that stuff though. Is it using anything to keep it upright? No. Also has a very, very big decoy over here. So this is Jossy's second entry and will be going against, well, let's see its opponent. Okay, so over here we have the Blinding Lights enemy, first enemy. He will be going against this ship, which has well, some decoys. I don't think it had any missiles though. So its main weapons are going to be these 3 huge APS turrets. Also, and all these simple weapons. It has its decoys and all that stuff. So this is a really well geared ship. It has a sonar over here, and surprisingly little amount of props for the size of this ship. So therefore, probably is going to have a lot of inside air armor. So that's going to be good against heat and all that stuff. It's steam powered, also, as I just saw. Curious to see how this goes. These guns are probably going to be very scary and hurt a lot, I'm guessing. So yeah, this is Cobalt's entry. There's the detection's pretty well spread out too, so it shouldn't have any detection problems. Even though in Newbee Rumble the default is 0.5, which is not that bad. But wait, there's 2 Marauders? Yeah, I forgot to despawn the other one. But yeah, so a very solid craft, lots of armor, probably very hard to kill, and probably some solid APS shells that will hurt once they touch. Yeah, if you look at the top right, these APS shells probably hurt a lot. And some support from those simple weapons, which also are probably going to help if they can get a couple of blocky shots on some detection turrets. That could be critical, especially against Joshy's craft, because it didn't seem to have that much detection. So yeah, this is the Cobalt's entry, a very solid craft, which a lot of armor and a cool design. Okay, so next up we have the class Wolf by Lil the Bill. This craft right now is fighting Marauder, but we'll be going against Danger Mouse, I think. We're going to see in a couple seconds, I will confirm that. Its main weaponry will be these huge cram cannons over here, with lots of simple weapons. I think they're kinetic. Might need a failsafe. I don't think they got knocked out though, so I think we're fine. Has a bunch of ammunition warning over here, which means it probably has, yeah, over here it has some turrets, which look oddly similar to previous turrets. So it has a bunch of smoke defenses, a bunch of missile defense interceptors. Does have missile interceptors on the bottom. Also has a bunch of missiles. This is mainly missile craft, I think, supported by this huge cram cannon. And this, I think this is a prefab. I think I've seen this. I think it's a prefab. And also its main detection, I think, is right along here. So I don't know if it's got any other spare detection, which might be a problem for the craft, but if it has a sonar, that's a passive sonar. If it has another sonar, it might be good. But yeah, this might be a weakness of the craft, only have it like this. So this is an interesting submission. So as you can see, a very, very, very large cram cannon in the front with a bunch of simple weapons, which are going to just add some things. It doesn't have a failsafe apparently. And yeah, with a bunch of missile interceptors, which could be good against any cram vehicles and also any missiles. Also, it has a lot of missiles, so this craft might hurt a lot if you don't have any missiles. So be careful if you don't have any missile interceptors. This time, your craft is going to get hurt this season, I believe. So yeah, a very solid entry. Lots of defenses. Curious about the armor scheme. Probably has a hole in it because I don't see props holding it up. So it's a decently big ship, so it probably has some air gaps to protect from heat and hash and all that stuff. So yeah, this entry will be interesting to see. Let's see its opponent. Okay, so apparently I was wrong in the last clip. It's not against Danger Mouse, it's against Scribble McGee, which have a really, really good looking ship actually, with some nice tournament edition on here. And the scalpel, I think that's the name of the craft. Let's check. The scalpel, also one of those craft that decide to go straight on the limit, which I kind of like the addition of. Its main weapons are going to be these two APS here, protected by heavy armor. Yeah, detection a little bit everywhere, which makes it very reliable. Obviously, a alarm system apparently, and also some interceptors. So alarm system and interceptors will be hard to kill with a lot of things, and some smoke protection, which also is good. A little flag, I like the flag. So this is a very good looking, also looks like a very solid ship. It does have torpedo protection, which is going to be very necessary in this tournament apparently, because a lot of people have torpedoes. So this will be going in Lil the Bill's frigate class Wolf. So an interesting matchup, a very modern looking ship. Yeah, I like it a lot. Let's see the next matchup. Oh yeah, sorry. Next up we will have Sunny Lemonon's Wheel of Pain, which is well, a front sider, which looks very scary with some big APS here. Apparently these are railguns, and this is probably not. Some munition warners, some simple weapons. Most likely has counter torpedoes or missiles over here. And if we press F11, as you can see, it's not actually changing the rules because it's not using any of the melee blocks. So it's going to be using these guys probably to hurt people. I don't even know if they're spinning anymore. Anyways, this is a very interesting craft, which I like the look of, honestly. I don't know why, I just really like the look. Oh god. The flying. It might get some oh, because it's under here. If it's too high though, it will end up dying because of disqualification points. So I guess that's that. Also some big torpedoes in the back. Yeah, these things might hurt. So this is a very interesting entry. There's been some previous entries with this system, so having something down, pushing it up. So this is definitely a legit craft. It will be interesting to see it in its match. This one is actually not going up against a vehicle immediately. It's kind of going to take one of the losers of the rounds and go up with it. Anyways, it's going to end up fighting about the same people. So this craft will definitely be a very interesting entry and a funny one to watch. Sunny Lemonade has made a lot of submissions to this tournament, and honestly I think this is my favorite one. I like it a lot. Okay, so next up we have Tony Danger Mouse's entry. This is a very solid ship. I've actually seen quite a lot of this ship already. It uses a lot of propellers to keep it upright. Main weapon is going to be this railgun. Well, they'll use 2 railguns per. Pretty sure this is a railgun. Yeah, these 2 railguns will kind of do a lot of damage if you look up on the right. Once again, you see the damage is already just starting to stack up. I believe it's also a very fast craft. How can I see that? Yeah, it's a 25 meter per second craft, so it's a decently fast craft. Yeah, it has a lot of armor. I've checked it. Checked it for armor, so it has a very good armor. It's not having its top side on. Also, where's the detection? Oh, there's detection on the turrets, and probably some down here. Yeah, so there's some down here. I don't know if it has any counter missiles. I am not seeing any. There's some counter torpedoes though here, or decoy. Yeah, it's a decoy. So yeah, a very solid ship. Might have weakness against missiles, but I don't see. I might just not see it. So yeah, very solid ship, mainly on the offensive as I can see. Okay, that took me by surprise, like you guys don't know. Anyways, so yeah, very solid entry, good looking one, and will be interesting to see. Also one, also immediately into losers bracket. I'm pretty sure he's also gonna have a 2 elimination thing, or else I might have to change how this works. Never used that program, by the way, and I already have to change the program because the last 2 entries weren't in there. So we're gonna have some fun, but I'm gonna try and keep all the same ship against each other. Worst case, I'm just gonna change website and use something else. But I'm gonna keep the same matches up and all the same stuff. So yeah, this is Tony Danger Mouse's boat, like a lot. Actually, this one might be against the wheel if I change the thing to make it more fair and stuff. So yeah, this is Tony Danger Mouse boat, and it's just a very well-rounded boat. Let's see Jono's boat now, which was actually going to be going against mine. Also, those 2 boats were exempt from the tournament. One of them was, well, mine because it was 19 entries, which kind of destroyed the entire bracket looking thing. And I didn't really like it, so I just removed my boat. Anyways, I didn't like the boat at all, so I just removed it, and the bracket came back to normal. I didn't have any funny weird stuff happening, so I thought that was just better for the tournament. But because Josh's boat's coming back in, it's going to be back to an impaired number. And Josty's boat's probably just gonna wreck my boat. That boat was mainly like 2 hours. So yeah, Jono's boat's probably gonna wreck it. So anyways, it's back on, so the bracket can look clean, all that stuff. So let's go look at Jono's boat right here. Okay, so this is Jono's boat. For one specific reason, this is one of my favorite entries in this tournament. This guy here. Okay, so it's supported by light blocks and mimics over here, which is kind of cool. And it kind of have this own little attack helicopter following it. It's not a sub object, it's just kind of string up here. I really like it. This is wonderful. Probably my favorite little detail in this entire tournament this time. So over here it has 2 lasers. Its main defense is wood, and I've seen people argue about this, well, wood and metal, but a lot of people argued about this in the Discord, so we're actually gonna have a special match, I think, was between a big man, Big Scary Man, and Jono's, probably at the end of the tournament, an extra match for them. But anyways, its main weapons are going to be these 2 lasers, a lot of diff guns, over here some main APS, and a big old railgun here. It has some counter torpedoes, not torpedoes, missiles, and over here, maybe a CIWS? Not too sure. It obviously does have its own counter torpedoes. Whoa, I didn't see that. A particle counter under the water. Surprisingly within cost, because that looks like all very expensive stuff. But yeah, a very solid ship with the most cute thing there is. Does it throw torpedoes? Those torpedoes. Yeah, a very solid ship with a lot of attack. I think this is gonna be a glass cannon maybe, but we're gonna see about that. Anyways, very solid ship, and we'll be going against my ship, so no worries, this ship's gonna win. But yeah, very solid ship. I like it a lot. I kind of really like this thing over here. Yeah. Also, this is scary. I don't know what gauge. It's a pretty small gauge. It's like 60, and there's no shells. Oh, no shells. Reloading. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty small stuff in here. I'm curious to see how this is gonna go. Yeah, very big ship. Like it a lot. And let's move on to mine, I guess. Okay, so this is the Lurker by well, I guess me. This is this is one of my failed craft. I really don't like it. Also, it has the same diminishing things as Joshy's craft. So a fifth of the budget gone, and also you guys were all able to test it, so you should be very familiar with this craft. Main defenses are going to be these small missile interceptors. Probably not enough to deal with lots of them people on here, which have a lot of these things. Also some torpedo interceptors on the bottom here, sonar decoy and all that stuff. Too much of its detection is bunched up in one area. This craft is definitely a failed concept, just to add and round up the competition once again. So the main concept of this craft is it's a broadsider that strafes around and is intentionally trying to be hard to hit. Lots of armor in the front. Its main thing is going to be those two particle cannons that shoot every so often and are protected by piston moving up and down some heavy armor. So it's basically just a craft trying to be, well, yeah, I don't really like it. This is not my best craft, but whatever. It's gonna round up the entries. Jono, you better win this. I believe in you. This is not a hard craft to kill. So apparently critical hits sometimes happen. But anyways, yeah. So this is the Lurker by me. Not a craft that's gonna be rolling down any competitions here. Definitely probably one of my worst crafts, but whatever. It will be entering the competition. Nothing really to be scared at. The only problem is it has some things going up and down. It goes through material like nobody's business, and well, I guess it's kind of protected. But except that, honestly, this is not a good craft. So yeah, shouldn't be a problem. So anyways, these are all the entries for this tournament. I'm gonna be curious to see who will actually win these, because honestly, I think this is the season of Newbee Rumble with the best entries. Some of these entries are just completely ridiculously strong. Some of these are very funny, some really good looking ones. I'm going to be curious to see who ends up winning. And yeah, this is going to be a really good season. Upload should be once a week, like 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah, I'm going to pre-record most of them. Also, the brackets will be fixed and uploaded probably a little bit after this video is uploaded. So yeah, these were all the entries, all 20 entries of the Newbee Rumble, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And also, please don't forget to tell me what orientation you want your boat to be spawned in during the matches. So yeah, these were all the first 20 boats, and the new tournament bracket will be up very soon.